Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2023 GMC Yukon XL four-wheel drive Denali. Huge shout out to Randy Marion GMC for providing this massive SUV for me today. Check out their website, that link is down in the description. So this XL is finished off in volcanic red, and we'll go over the MSRP once we go over all the specs and features and get this out on the road. So let's start off with what powers this Yukon. This has a 6.2 liter V8 engine paired to the 10-speed automatic transmission, and this pumps out 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, sent through the full-time four-wheel drive system, propelling this 5,800-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in around 6 seconds with a top speed of 112 miles an hour. As far as fuel economy goes, you're looking right around 14 miles per gallon in the city, 18 out on the highway, running off a 24-gallon fuel tank. And this has a wheelbase of 134.1 inches. Its overall length is 225.2. It has a width of 81 and a height of 77 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Yukon, let's start off with the massive grille. This has a huge presence to it, especially when it's coming down the road, but matches nicely with the rest of the front end features. So you'll notice that GMC is front and center with a forward-facing camera, and there are plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling to that engine. Now this also has a set of LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals, and you'll notice that the LED fog lights are split with some bodywork running right through the middle. So those are mounted in the lower section, where you'll notice some more brush trim, gloss black accents, as well as a functional air inlet. So that can provide even more aerodynamics for this massive SUV. There's a few cutouts in the lower section too, and then some bulges running down the hood on both sides. Very similar to the GMC trucks that you would see with those bulges and that design. And then as we work our way to the side, this model has the upgraded set of 22-inch wheels, finished off in gloss black, which is a great contrast with this volcanic red. You'll notice there is some chrome running down the side. It's on the Denali badge. It's surrounding the GMC logo as well, and it even surrounds the window trim. Now this also has the two-tone design for the side mirrors, which have a turn signal and a camera too. And then this has a full panoramic sunroof with the roof racks, or the roof rails, running down both sides. So this is actually right around 20 inches longer than the non-XL version. So you get a lot more space in the rear, which we will show in this video, of course. This also has the power folding side steps, so those will open up. When you open up the door, you'll notice more of the chrome trim surrounding the windows too, and some nice lines that flow down the side. For it being stretched 20 inches, it still retains a very nice look with all of the lines, and it flows nicely to the rear end, where this also has a body colored spoiler with the integrated third brake light, and the wiper blade is up underneath. You can see GMC with more of that brush trim. This has a backup camera with LED taillights, of course. You'll see all of the parking sensors down below, some more of that brush trim, and then that quad dual exhaust system, which we can actually go ahead and take a listen to. So if I lock this vehicle and then double tap on this button, you will hear that V8 come to life, and then if you just hold on that button, it will shut off from there. This also has a maximum towing capacity with the max trailering package, which this model has, of 8,400 pounds. So if you need a people hauler and a toy hauler, this is a great option to go with. Now as we move on to the rear cargo area, you can actually open up the glass and the liftgate independently. So you can do that on the vehicle itself, or you can use the key fob. So if I double tap on this button, that will release the glass. So if you have some smaller items and you would like to quickly throw them in, you have access to do that. It is a little bit narrow, so again, smaller items is best for situations like that. And then you can open up the rest of the power tailgate just by pushing on that button. The button for the glass is over on that right side, and you'll notice that there is a ton of space behind the third row. That is the third row up at the moment, and you can fit in pretty much any items that you would like to take with you for the day. You have a little bit of storage underneath, mainly for thinner items or the cover that you can put in place. You can store it away when that is not in use. Now on this right side, there is a power outlet. You can even fold down the second row just by double tapping on this button. You will see that seat go down, and then from there, I can actually lower the third row. So I'm just going to do it on that driver's side, and you can see with how flat that is, you have a ton of space. So if you have people in the second row, look at how much room. You probably have 4 or 5 feet where you can put in some items. Now you do have to manually put up the second row, but you can automatically put up the third row. It is quite a reach to get there, so that is nice to see. And then with the power liftgate, you can just push that button and that will automatically close. Now what I love about this vehicle is that you can actually lock and unlock all 4 doors, so it doesn't matter which door you go up to. It is currently locked, so just push on that button and now we can gain access to the interior, where we have a beautiful 2-tone design for this door panel. You'll notice the wood trim, the brushed aluminum accents. We have all the stitching, the Bose audio, even the split level design for the storage for the door. Now as we work our way to the interior, you'll notice that the second row is still collapsed, so I can quickly fold that up. And then we have all the adjustments down on the side. You can slide the seat forwards and backwards. You can even use this black strap in the back to get out from the third row. So let's work our way to the second row, where if I pull on this button twice, so with 1 it goes back into that position, and then 2 it is up all the way. So at 5'10", I have absolutely no issues getting in to this third row. And you'll notice with that seat set where it is, there is plenty of legroom as well. And I have around 2 or 3 inches above my head. With this armrest here, I'm very comfortable. I could probably ride back here for a good bit of time and really have no issues. I have cup holders, auxiliaries where I can charge electronics, and you will notice that we have 3 seats for the third row, and then a lot of visibility. There's also air vents up top, and you can even push on this button too in order to get out of the third row. So you have that button on both sides along with that strap that I mentioned earlier. You can also gain access through the middle, since these are captain's chairs for the second row. But we can quickly put this back up, and then I will use that other control to push this seat back. So that allows me to have more legroom for the second row. There's also storage pockets. We have cup holders, a little bit of storage. These are even heated seats as well. We have all the temperature adjustments, so you can quickly adjust that. Another 3-prong outlet is located down below. And with the captain's chairs, we have the armrest. They even recline too, and you can see all the piping, which gives them a fantastic look. Definitely the place to be for this full-size SUV. Now for the front door panels, just like the rear ones, however, there's the addition of the window controls, or all of the window controls. You have the side mirror adjustments, which are power folding, and then we have the automatic front seats with Denali right in the middle. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this does have the power side steps, so those will deploy, so that makes it very easy to gain access into this vehicle. And then as we move on to the steering wheel, you'll notice the full brown leather, which is a great combo. You'll notice that on the entire dash too. But let's fire this Denali back up. With my foot on the brake, that button is over on the right side. We can bring this to life. And looking at this digital gauge cluster, currently on the left side you can see miles per hour. On the right side you can see the tach along with what mode the vehicle is currently in. And you can go through a lot more info using all of these controls on the right side of the steering wheel, where there's also Bluetooth and voice commands. And then on the back side of the steering wheel, we have the volume adjustments. So if I scroll down, we have some information that we can go through. There's a blank page, and then you have a lot of different vitals to monitor, just depending on what you'd like to see. There's also your trip information as well, drive summary, and then the speedometer. I can scroll over to music, so when you have that on and going, of course, you can decide what you'd like to listen to. You can pull up the compass, even pull up your phone when you have that paired. And then you have different display layouts depending on your mood for the day. So it was currently in classic. Now we have progressive, where it will change again. We have digital, and then the last one is clean. So that way, if you don't want to see most of that information, that will all hide away. Now, if we go back to classic, you can actually control the rest of this information. The compass is being shown on the left side, driving mode's on that right side, and then you can even adjust the lower section. So just depending on the info you'd like to see, and you can even go to the head-up display. So currently it is showing the distance pacing along with the miles per hour and the speed limit sign. You will notice that in the upper section of the gauge cluster as well. So not a ton of info, but it gives you everything that you need to go through. Now on this left side, you'll notice all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings. There's the heated steering wheel. And then on the back side, we have the tuning adjustments for the radio. Now on this left side, there are a lot more controls to go through. There's the trailer braking system, all the headlight and fog light adjustments, dimmer switches for the gauges. There's the four-wheel drive selectors, even the adaptive air ride suspension, which you can change just by pushing on that button. And you have a few different heights that you can adjust. So you have the entry and exit. We can go to the normal, then we can also go back over to increased, and then the last one is the maximum ground clearance to give you that extra ground clearance depending on what you're doing for the day. And then if you go into the mode, you can use that same icon to go through the different driving modes. So you'll notice normal, there's sport mode, there's also off-road, and then a tow and haul. So you have some pretty good capabilities for this family style SUV. There's the electronic parking brake, lane keeping assist, traction control, the downhill assist control. You can turn off the parking sensors as well as the engine start stop. You have a few different heads-up display controls as well. So just by clicking on info, you can actually go through and see a few different settings. So there's the compass. You can look at your pitch and your roll along with the degrees for the steering wheel. There's a calm setting, and then we are back to that distance pacing. And then the last button over on this side is the 360 camera. So if I push on that button, we can go ahead and move on to this system where you have so many different angles depending on what you need to see. And even looking at the side mirrors, we have a trailering one that you can go through. You can turn on and off the guidelines too. So it's very nice to have that amount of visibility for this. There's one air vent just above that. And as we work our way back to the center, you'll see two air vents just above this massive touchscreen system. So on this left side, if I push on the home icon, this has the split screen right now for your audio as well as your Google Maps. And then we also have more icons to go into. We can go into the map system here and pull that up in full screen, so that way you can go through all of this information as needed. We can also look at phone, go back to the camera system, Play Store. This has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can even go into the trailering system. So when you have that hooked up, you can monitor all of that information. You can even get into all of the climates as well. So when this loads, we have the power, so we can turn that on and off, go through the rest of that information. And then we have some news apps there, Wi-Fi as well. On this left side, these are all presets. So you can get into your music, get into your maps, get into your phone when you have that paired, and then the trailering system is the last one. You can actually drag and drop and set those up just depending on what you are using. If I push on those bubbles there, this is the voice recognition. It is not going to understand me at the moment. But then over on this left side, you will see more of the wood trim and then the gear selector. So pushing on park is how you can do that. I can pull on reverse. You'll see that backup camera. There's neutral, drive, and then we even have a low range gear. So if you're towing or you happen to take this off-road, you can control the gears, which is nice. Now underneath that, we have a few physical buttons for that upper screen. So there is a home icon. You can use this dial too to further go through that info. There's power and volume for the radio, and then tuning right in the middle. And then all of the physical controls for the climate adjustments. With the temperature, you have fan speed right in the middle where you'd like the air to go. These are even heated and ventilated seats. So all of those adjustments are on both sides, and you can even get into the rear climate. So if you have children in the back, you can quickly adjust that for them as needed, which is nice to see. Now underneath that, there's more wood trim. I can push this open where it reveals a wireless charging pad along with some auxiliaries. And then there are two cup holders on the back side. You can hide those away as needed. For the center armrest, you will notice that there's a nice spot here where you can place your phone. So that way it's not going to slide around and you have easy access to it. If I open this up, there's actually a good bit of storage where you can place several items as needed. And then for the glove box, we have an ample amount of room with more of that wood trim just above that. Now this has the full sunroof with the automatic adjustments right in the middle. You have a lot more controls up here. For the power liftgate, you have off, max, and 3/4. There's also garage door buttons, dome lights on both sides. You can even control the easy entry and exit. You can also fold down the 3rd row. So just by pushing on that button, you can put it back up too, which is very convenient if you need to do that. We have the sunroof adjustments, like I mentioned, being able to tilt it, and then all of the OnStart controls are just in front of that. As we set off now behind the wheel for this 23 Yukon, this has an MSRP of $91,000. Now for the type of vehicle that this is, I really wouldn't say that that is overpriced or too expensive for the size and what you were getting out of this massive SUV. Now you could compare this to some other full-size 3-row vehicles, like even the BMW X7, which is going to be in a similar price point depending on what you're getting, but I don't think it's going to have quite as much rear cargo space behind the 3rd row. There's also other models like the Kia Telluride, the Hyundai Santa Fe, which are going to be way cheaper than this. But what you're getting with this too is the towing capabilities. 8,400 pounds. Really can't match any of those other competitors that I mentioned, aside from possibly the X7. So right around $90,000, you're getting quite a lot, and this is very, very nice. The Cadillac Escalade might also have the extended length like this too, but of course, being the Cadillac, it will cost even more. But this has been very nice to check out. I've been in some other GMCs before, and especially a lot of their pickup trucks. I've been driving those lately. We have been receiving a lot of those. And honestly, it drives just like the pickup trucks would. However, you got a good tone to that V8, and without having the pickup, you now have room for 5 more people behind the front seats. So you definitely have no shortage of space. If you have a big family, you have a lot of items that you need to bring with you on a daily basis, and you need the room for this. It's going to give you a really nice ride too. With the air ride suspension, I've just been in normal mode at the moment, and that acceleration was also in sport mode actually. But even then, it's so nice, comfortable, quiet to drive. And as far as maneuverability goes, while we make a quick U-turn here, it's a big vehicle, 20 inches longer, almost 2 feet than the normal Yukon, and we were able to do that. The steering is very impressive. So don't let that deter you from buying this. If you need a full-size vehicle, it's really not all that hard to drive. And with another acceleration, we are up to speed. It really doesn't feel underpowered by any means. This has a healthy engine. For the weight of this, you're going to have no issues getting up to speed, even towing like it is meant to do. So for 90 grand, I really think you're getting a good SUV if you need something of this size. Going with the XL pretty much gives you all of the space that you could possibly want and not have to worry about where you're going to put items that you're bringing with you for the day. And as you can tell, it's been super comfortable and quiet. There's no road noise or wind noise. It is a nice place to be. I like all of the materials as well. Of course, you can get different options, but this one is spec'd very nicely. And everything is just easy to use, easy to go through. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this 2023 GMC Yukon XL Denali. Once again, a huge shout out to Randy Marion GMC for providing this SUV for me today. Check out their website, that link is down below. Give the video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.